It is absolutely no secret that I think that Dark Souls 3 is the best game in the series, or probably ever. And the only game that comes close to it is that Crash Bandicoot game, which is a Dark Souls clone. Anyway, jokes aside, you guys seem to be so sure that I am proud Dark Souls 3 hater, so this video will likely do nothing to disprove it. But the truth is, I am pretty damn super ultra straightforward about things, and I rarely have hard feelings, or any feelings at all for that matter. The way it goes is that, at least in my book, Dark Souls 3 cuts way too many corners without bringing something good and unique. So, today, to disprove the bad rumors, or to reinforce them, we will be talking about things that Dark Souls 3 does right. At least in my opinion, obviously. Number 1 on my list is animations. It might seem like something minor or something that very few people pay attention to because of how little it seems to impact the gameplay, but you'd be surprised at how many people turned away from Dark Souls 2, which is a superior game in my book, because of how poorly it was animated. Obviously, it's a subjective matter, but I've seen a ton of complaints back when Dark Souls 2 was released, with everybody saying that there is no sense of weight when it comes to using heavy weapons, and animations look poor and iffy at best. Dark Souls 3 has it right. It has it absolutely right. In fact, I think it has the best animations in the series. Using big weapons feels like it. It feels like you're using a fucking huge ass sword, and it looks like it. Same goes for smaller weapons, and rolls look elegant, all 5 billion of them. You got my point. And speaking of visual fidelity, without a single doubt, it's the best looking Miyazaki game. You can try to argue that you like Dark Souls 1 aesthetic more, or that Dark Souls 2 wasn't even produced by Miyazaki. You can say that Bloodborne looks as good, but we all know Dark Souls 1 looks like a PlayStation 3 game, and just for your information, it kinda is a PlayStation 3 game, and PlayStation 3 is powered by almost 15-year-old hardware, so it's nothing special. Same goes for Dark Souls 2, and even though it has a remaster and a PC version, I don't think it can be praised for how it looks. Bloodborne, on the other hand, is stellar. It has great art design and seems to be using the same engine, so you can maybe try to make an argument here. But Bloodborne is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, which means that it is locked to 30 FPS, which is also known as a stutterfest. So if you ask me, as far as Souls formula and good visuals go, get Dark Souls 3. The third point on my list is the most important one, at least to me. Dark Souls 3 has the best matchmaking. And by best matchmaking, I mean all those changes that happen to how multiplayer works. You can have fun with PvP even after you defeated the boss. And you get a chance to have an instant duel with your friend using a password, which is awesome. I can't tell you how much of a fucking hustle it was back in the days of games for Windows Live, when you had to sit for 20 or 30 minutes waiting for the damn thing to sync up, hoping to see a sign that was left by your friend. Now, while something similar was done in Dark Souls 2 as well, I think that the password matchmaking used in Dark Souls 3 works the best, making sure that your own personal fight club can be assembled whenever you want it, with ease. And that's about it. That's all I can really mention. And I'm just being honest here, because look, I can't praise the game for its story, because it has none. It uses and reuses same themes, same characters, forcing the same old gags down your throat. I can't praise the soundtrack either, even though it's actually good. I just don't think it's the best one in the series. If you want a fair comparison, to this damn day I remember every single piece from Demon Souls soundtrack, and the only soundtrack that maybe comes close to it is the one that belongs to Bloodborne. And I surely can praise the gameplay, because even though the game tried to become the best of the Souls series, it tried to fuse multiple good elements that belonged to different games, it failed in other aspects, or lacked polish and common sense when fusing this all together. So the final product doesn't really offer anything worthy over what it lost in the process. It's not a bad game by any means, but I genuinely think that it doesn't have many strengths when compared to previous installments in the series. And see how most of the fun things were patched one update after the other. You kinda get an idea why I'm constantly upset about what came out of it. At the end of the day, I'm just being honest with you. There's no doubt that Dark Souls 3 does some things right, but only some things. Dark Souls 1 wasn't flawless by any means, sure, but it did offer a lot over its predecessor, so you had a decent reason to excuse it. In case with Dark Souls 3, I am afraid I don't see any reason to excuse this kind of stuff. Anyway guys, let me know what you think about Dark Souls 3 in relation to previous games, and if your list of top things about it looks any different compared to mine. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.